So during COVID-19, I've continued to do a lot of hiking. The weather's been beautiful. Not a lot of paragliding. A lot of the sites have been closed. Haven't really wanted to travel too much right now, but I've been thinking a lot about my paramotoring too. Few of you know that I did sell the Maverick, and that's a story I'll go into. But also I've gotten a new paramotor. When I mentioned that to my buddy Gary, he mentioned to me, "Lou, I think you've had, what, 4 paramotors so far?" Yeah, I guess he's right. I do tend to go through them, don't I? Well, let's talk about that a little bit. My first paramotor was the Miniplane Top 80, a great machine until I bent it, falling off my carrier. Then the Kangook frame with the same Top 80 engine. And then the paramotor that shall not be mentioned that tried to kill me several times. Then I recently had the Parajet Maverick with the Atom 80, but I did sell this and I'll go over why. And now the very latest Kangook frame that I'll introduce you to. In 2018, Kangook had a fire that pretty much destroyed their entire operation. But a short time later, they were back in production, and this frame is a result of that. It's the Phoenix rising from the ashes. This is the K2, which is the current Phoenix line. It keeps the very modular concept to the whole frame. It has the 3 separate cage sections that come out separately. They're held together with clips and the Velcro, as you can see here. This is pretty much how the Kangook line has always been, but it does have more coverage now as far as the netting than the original older design. I do have a carrier on order, but until then, it does break down very well. I can fit the whole unit in the back seat of my car, and then the cage sections, which come off quite easily, go into the trunk. This seat also has some nice retaining straps to help keep that seat up and everything really tidy when you're traveling with it. And this Kangook also has the new MY'20 Moster 185. Okay, so after admiring this unit for a little while, it was time to do the break-in. And for those of you who don't know what the break-in is, it can be different for different engines. For the 185, it's basically increasing RPMs for a decreasing amount of time with some time in between 4 different cycles of this. Now, I've done the break-in for both the Top 80 and the Atom 80, and yeah, it was no big deal. It's on my back for a little bit, but I was not prepared for doing this on a 185, especially as you get the 7,000, 8,000 RPMs. It's only for 1 minute and 30 seconds respectively, but doing this through 4 cycles and trying to just brace myself against that fence you can see for those higher RPMs was just brutal. I got to the 3rd stage and I said, well, I'm just going to finish this. For anybody out there, I would recommend fixing the paramotor and doing it on the ground, but make sure it's fixed and secure, because those are some big RPMs. After the break-in, I did decide I wanted to secure my paramotor on the ground so I could start it safely. I'm going to also do this when it's on the carrier and hitched to my car, so I can do the warm-up while it's safe and secure. It doesn't necessarily have to be on my back. Why didn't I do this before the break-in? Well, that's because I'm an idiot. But, well, live and learn. It would have been a lot easier on my back. So this is the embarrassing part of the video. Learning to start the Moster 185 Plus. Once you have the technique, it is not difficult, but I did not have the technique, obviously, in these few times that I was trying to start it. Okay, so that was a whole lot better. You can also see I have my paramotor secured to the carrier, and I can do the warm-up on the carrier. It's going to make it a whole lot easier this way. And it's a lot easier to start on my back once it's warmed up. Oh, and here's a bonus tip. Really helps to remove this from your air filter inlet before trying to start your engine. So I said I would talk about why I sold the Parajet Maverick. And first off, let me say it's a great paramotor. There's nothing that was really negative that says, oh, I gotta get rid of this. It was really nice, very sleek design. It had the Atom 80 engine, which was very smooth. Though there's been some problems here and there. I was very fortunate after about 20 plus hours, having no problems. A little bit of oil leak off some of the in the muffler seals, but that seemed to kind of seal out itself. So had it in the first 5 hours, then no more. Just had to keep everything really clean because the gunk really did start to build up. The one thing I did not really like on the Parajet Maverick, and this if you're going to take it apart often and travel with it, is that hoop. It's a great idea. You just have this single hoop design and that seal goes all the way around. It was kind of a bugger, yeah, for me. So if you're not going to take it apart, it's no big deal. It's an easy ratchet system to get the net tight. So not a problem, but you know, it kind of was always in the back of my mind, oh man, do I have to take this thing on and off? So it's a great idea, but in certain circumstances, especially if it got cold, man, that thing is stiff. If I took it on and off, on and off, on and off, would it be better? I don't know. I'll never find out. Or maybe you guys have done it. And there was a technique to doing it. Rather than starting from the bottom, I started from the center and went down on each side. And that was a little easier. But as you get towards the bottom, it's a little bit of a bugger. So anyway, minor thing. The Atom 80, again, overall, very easy to start. Less tricky and easier than the Moster 185. The top 80 could be a little bit tricky sometimes, but after I got used to that, and the priming is the big thing, I think. I'm not quite sure the priming with this, other than I don't think it takes a lot. Also, I had to plug in my air filter intake for the first few pulls, and I'm sure that didn't help. I'm not getting any air in there. It's super rich at that point. I may have flooded it a bit because it hasn't done that before. Usually it's in 2 starts, but a little bit of prime. I got to remember to take that thing out, even though I had it tagged. It's got to be part of my pre-flight. The only good news is it's never going to start with that in there. I'm never going to take off with it, I don't think. The Parajet, again, very sleek. Loved that gas tank design. It was really nice. And you got everything good to the last drop. Man, that thing kind of tapered down towards the bottom. You got the last bit of fuel. And there are a couple of times where I was really happy about that. So that is certainly something with the Parajet. They do come with a Moster 185. The weight is really about the same. I know titanium is supposed to be lightweight and strong, and it certainly was lightweight, but compared to the Kangook, it's maybe a couple of pounds more in the Kangook. If I recall, the Maverick was 46.5 pounds dry, ready to go except for gas. This is 56.4 pounds. The Moster is a little over 8 pounds heavier, so yeah, not too far out. And sometimes you get caught up with this weight thing, and it really also goes to how it fits on your back. And as I'm standing here with the Moster on the Kangook frame, I really don't feel, you know, it really feels okay. I don't want to be standing around for an hour,
like I did with the break-in. So, but this really helps a lot just to get it warmed up just by having it on my carrier. So why did I sell that Parajet Maverick? It actually wasn't too intentional. I had sold my Epsilon 8 to a pilot. He was getting into paramotoring and he wanted a dual wing, which is a great wing for that. It really is. I put it on eBay just to kind of see if I get any interest, and sure enough, the same pilot saw that and said, "Hey, you want to sell it?" And well, obviously it's on eBay. I guess I do. Maybe. We came to a very reasonable price. I really thought I was going to do much more hike and fly. It was, the Paramotor was just sitting there, and I sold it. What can you say? But as time went on, I really thought about it. I like the Kangook frame. It works for me. It's durable, pretty light. It can take a multitude of different engines. This particular frame is solely for the Moster 185, so it's a little lighter and it's a little bit more, I guess, closer to the frame, which is nice. It sits on my back really nicely. I like the Kangook. I like those 3 sections. For me, it works well. As probably most people out there know, Paramotor just comes to become what you like, what really works for you. Everybody has a different style of flying. It's comfortable on your back, which is the biggest thing. And I would say Parajet Maverick is great. Try flying it. Again, I had the Miniplane for a little while, and I really liked that. If it hadn't fallen off my carrier, I'd probably still have it. Though I don't know, I'm really looking forward to the Moster. I want a little more climbing ability. That's really what I want. Again, a lot of neat paramotors out there. I'd love to fly a lot of different ones. And I would be happy to fly a lot of different ones, but I'm a little scared of cracking them up. So, so if I do fly different ones, it's going to be my own paramotor. So that's it. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate you watching, and obviously there'll be a lot of videos follow up with my first flights with the new wing. I'm looking forward to getting that very soon. And take care out there. Bye-bye.
So this is the Kangook Phoenix K2 with the Moster 185 MY'20 engine. Looking forward to doing a lot of flying, a lot of videos, as well as more paragliding. I've just decided that I just kind of like doing both. Thanks for watching. Take care.